and gentlemen, try to have fun. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is written and directed by Guy Ritchie, based on a book by Damian Lewis. This is set during World War II, where Hitler's Nazi Germany forces are seemingly unstoppable. Too many troops, they're too driven, they have too many resources, and they are too goddamn determined to conquer not just Europe, not just Africa, but the entire world for the glory of the Kaiser. And the only thing that's standing in their way of conquering all of Europe, well, besides maybe some pockets of resistance, is Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Britain, who really has just had it up to here, with all the stuff going on and the fact that, yeah, sure, they have a lot more resources and they're a lot more driven, but you know what? We will bring the might of Britain down to them, and what we're going to do is, I'm not going to listen to you guys. I'm actually going to get somebody that's going to get a team together, people that don't follow orders, and we're going to send them over here. We're going to have them stop this Nazi supply chain, and then we are going to get the Americans involved, and then we are going to drive the Nazis back to where they came from, either in pretty good health, despite the fact they're fucking Nazis, or hobbled, or in body bags. God save the Queen. So this is based on a true story, and I say based on a true story because actually if you read up on the characters in this movie, you actually do know that a lot of this stuff actually happened, but when it comes to Guy Ritchie movies, you have to basically take a little bit of history with it, but you also have to understand that with the tone of the trailer and the tone of the movie, while there's serious moments, it has a lighthearted nature about it. And, of course, with Guy Ritchie movies, you're either going to get something like Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, or Snatch, or you're going to get something like Operation Fortune, Rouge de Guerre. Now, when it comes to history, I mean, who knows how much of it they actually got right? That's what history books are for. Was this movie entertaining? Yeah, it actually was pretty goddamn entertaining. I was able to see an early access screening, and I decided, even though I have been up pretty much since about 5 a.m. as of, this particular recording, I was like, why not? A long shift and doing some stuff, whatever. I'm going to get into this and I'm going to see how it is. I'll be honest, Operation Fortune, Rose de Guerre did not really entertain me. And when Guy Ritchie decides to make a movie that just doesn't fire, like Swept Away, remember when Madonna thought she should be an actress after doing techno music? That was certainly a trip. Guy Ritchie, though, is a very talented filmmaker. And as far as the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, it has a lighthearted nature about it. I will say that considering the subject matter and considering the history and all that, my main issue with this, before I talk about the cast and talk about things, is nobody really seems like they're in danger, but if you want to see Nazis get wrecked, as they should because they're fucking Nazis, and if you have any views that align with any Nazis at all, you're fucking assholes. What the fuck is wrong with you? Stop thinking that way. A lot of great violence, some good, witty dialogue, and actually just a nice breezy pace about it. It really does fly by, and it's almost 2 hours. It really does fly by, though. This is in the upper echelon of Guy Ritchie movies. Is it absolutely perfect? No, I do have some complaints. The aforementioned lack of danger, lack of tension, but there's some really, really good performances, so let's talk about that cast. So, firstly, I do want to talk about the other writers. You have Arash Amel, who did Rise and A Private War, and then you have Paul Tomasi and Eric Johnson, who did movies like The Outpost and The Fighter. And, you could check out the respective IMDb pages for the full list of their work. And same with Guy Ritchie, because Guy Ritchie also did do the 2019 Aladdin, but nobody was going to say that. You could have resurrected Alfred Hitchcock, who probably would have hit on Naomi Scott. But the cast: Henry Cavill plays Gus March Phillips, and read up on that name. He did quite a bit of heroic shit. Henry is certainly better than Argyle, I'll say that much. And then you have Anders Lanson, who's played by Alan Ritchson, who is in Jack Reacher, and is a beast. Was he born in a lab? Seriously, that man, good God. Man could press slam me and 5 other people easily. Guy's a fucking stallion. He's basically the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character from The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but real. My God, he's insane. You have Alex Pettyfer, who is in Time. You have Carrie Ells as You Wish. And then you have Henry Golding and Rory Kinnear, who is most recently in Men. And boy, what a creepy role he had. I will say this much, though. The standout in this movie, I mean, Henry was a standout and a nice breezy nature. And Henry Golding I've actually been a fan of since A Simple Favor. He's a really, really good actor. But Elsa Gonzalez, fucking hell. I mean, good God. She was in Ambulance. Jesus Christ, a 10 out of fucking 10. Absolutely sultry, gorgeous. Is actually a pretty good actress as well. And she does, I'm going to say this isn't necessarily a spoiler, because there isn't a lot you could spoil with this movie. She does a dance number at one point, because this is like, set obviously in the early 40s. And she does a dance number at one point where I would have folded like a fucking goddamn fitted sheet. My God, nobody could resist that. I don't care who you are, nobody could resist her. Absolutely gorgeous, just tremendous. But the movie has a breezy nature about it, and the violence really is nice, because again, you get to see Nazis get killed. It's really, really fun. And it does the usual Guy Ritchie thing of start here, then flashback to tell us how we set that up, and then do this, and then we get to this point that we were at before. And then we do a few twists and turns and stuff like that, even though this is less twisty and turny than like Operation Fortune and Snatch and stuff like that, and doesn't reach the levels of Snatch, because Snatch was just so tremendous. But Guy Ritchie is back in, I would say, not rarefied air, but he's back to basically being about as close to Guy Ritchie as you can get in 2024. And the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare actually turns out to be pretty good. I will say Rory Kinnear does a really good job as Churchill. Somehow creepier than he was in Men. And if you've seen Men, you know that's kind of impossible to believe. But that being said, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is very, very good. It's going to be out in a few days if you want to check it out. But yeah, just fun. Just really, really fun and breezy. And just the action is tremendous. And the stabbing of the Nazis and the killing of the Nazis. Because Nazis, no matter who they are, deserve to get their shit wrecked. It's fun. It doesn't really have a lot. It has fun with history and does honor the people, but it does it in a lighthearted way. So check it out in theaters when you get a chance. I'm going to get into spoilers, which really aren't going to take very long. But 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, in the beginning, there was rap, as our Lord and Savior Dr. Dre once said. And basically, Henry Cavill and Alan, they're playing they're pretending to be Swedish fishermen, and then they wreck this, like, German, like, tanker, this, like, giant German, like, warship. And then we flash back to how this happened. And I will say the banter between Henry and Carrie is really, really good. But the first time they showed Elsa, and I saw her in Ambulance, which wasn't good, but she's gorgeous. Boy, howdy. I was like, fuck. She's absolutely captivating. Good goddamn Christ. The incredible genetics on that woman. But basically they hatch this plan. They do all this stuff. Elsa has to, she plays Marjorie Stewart. She has to basically seduce this one German, high-ranking official. And there's just a lot of really good stuff about it. Meanwhile, Gus is leading his crew, but needs help. There's a monkey wrench thrown into the whole goddamn thing when they realize, shit, this stuff with this ship that, they're trying to blow up is going to leave soon. And if it leaves and gets into international waters, they're going to have problems. The tone of the movie really is just, hey, let's have fun with it, and let's just let people have fun. And I will say Alan Richson, does great, just killing, stabbing, just repeatedly destroying Nazis, just being a goddamn hulking beast. There's a great part where they just blow up, all these people in this German encampment, and they rescue, one of Gus's friends, and it's just a lot of fun, because they're setting all this up. Gus seems to feel that it's always going to work out, and Henry Golding, I do want to say, actually is really good here. I hope he gets more starring roles. He has a supporting role here. He's really, really good in Simple Favor. He's been good in other stuff, but just that movie is something that stood out, and that's something that's getting a sequel for some reason. But basically, it ends up working out completely. They tow the ship away with the help of some local natives, or people native to the particular area, with the promise of money and everything and all that. But of course, the operation is, found out. Carrie Owens is like, we'll take care of this. Oh, we had a mole here? Fuck off. Get the hell out of here. Yes, Mr. As You Wish said, I've had it with this. I'm not doing this anymore. It just turns out to be a breezy, fun time. And again, that musical number by Elsa, Jesus fucking Christ. When she was dressed as Cleopatra at one point, I'm just like, God, I'm in love. I mean, who wouldn't be in love? She was wearing this white dress doing the musical numbers, just gushing over her. Absolutely tremendous. She's fucking gorgeous. But really, it's just meant to be fun. It's just meant to be overall really fun. And this does lead to Winston Churchill, after they, were all captured by royal forces, to give them a feast and bring them aboard as part of his, Secret Service, shall we say. I mean, I guess is the best way to describe it. And again, history books are out there for a reason, for all the correct terminology. Of course, they do refer to M, and they refer to Ian Fleming, and Ian Fleming based, James Bond on the exploits of Gus Marsh Phillips. And that was nice. That was a nice little tie, and that was some pretty good stuff. So no, not perfect. It has its issues. It breezes by, but it has its issues where some of the stuff feels a little bit samey. But Guy Ritchie is mostly back to form. B+, I would say B+. Very entertaining. Once again, Elsa Gonzalez. Jesus. Anybody that is able to... whoever is lucky enough to be with her, you treat her like a fucking queen. You treat her like the just absolute goddess she is. Anyway, that being said, B+. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.